Hello everyone, my name is Waylon. I've been thinking lately, I've been hearing a lot of people going to the doctor and basically getting a death sentence. So you've got 6 months to live, a year to live, maybe 2 years. And I was just thinking, what if that happened to me? What if the doctor comes out and says, Waylon, you have 6 months to live? What would I do? Obviously, I can't say exactly how I would be at that time, what state of emotion I would be in. I'm sure it would be very traumatic feeling for me to hear that coming from a doctor, especially. But I have been thinking, and I think what I would really like to do is just take a look at the people that have survived past these death sentences. Not everyone who's been told by a doctor that they have 6 months to live dies in 6 months. In fact, many of them go on to live several years. So I don't want to look at just the worst side of things. Let's look at the extraordinary, not just the ordinary. We can have hope if we'll look at those cases instead and take a look at the doctors, what they're using, the treatments. Does the doctor know everything? Are they using every method that's available to treat you, or are they just sending you home to die? So I think the first thing I would do would be to start looking at people like Dr. Francisco Contreras at the Oasis of Hope in Mexico. I think he's in Tijuana. They have an extraordinary rate of success there at that hospital. They do things a little bit differently than they do here in this country. You'd want to really stay away from negative people. Listen to those people who speak life and not those people who are constantly looking at the bad side, and just learn to live and laugh, love, and forget. Do we have an expiration date? I don't think so. I mean, it may be possible. I don't know what God has in mind for us. Maybe you have a better understanding of this, but if we have an expiration date, why do we bother to go to the hospital or to the doctor at all? Why not just let nature run its course? But I think we have the power to choose to make decisions that will enable us to live longer, even if we have been given a death sentence. I just do not believe in I don't understand how anyone can look at you and tell you you have 3 months to live or 6 months to live, 2 years to live. I don't buy into that. I think that the body is amazing and that it can heal itself if we tune the body and the mind and the spirit so that they are running harmoniously and not just going against each other. So some of the things that I would do physically, oxygenation is very important. Dr. Otto Warburg, a long time ago, won a Nobel Peace Prize for discovering that oxygen, or actually lack of oxygen, is the source of cancer. It's pretty much where there's lack of oxygen, it's causing cancer. You can search for Dr. Otto Warburg and his Nobel Peace Prize and see the study that he did. And of course, oxygen is not going to do you very much good if you can't get it delivered throughout the body. So you have to have really good circulation. I know Tony Robbins puts a lot of emphasis on circulation in his books, that if you don't have circulation, you don't have oxygen delivered to the tissues in your body. You have to have oxygen, otherwise you're going to die. So let's just get oxygen to all those places, and there's several ways to do that other than just breathing. First of all, you need to learn to breathe properly, but there's hyperbarics, there are ozone generators, obviously eating a lot of water-rich foods, which is another thing that Tony Robbins talks about, and juicing. If you don't like water, especially juice, make fresh juices, not the bottled stuff. Go out, invest in a juicer. can't afford to buy a juicer, Tony suggests that you sell your car, buy a juicer. It'll get you farther. Especially if you have a sentence to die, why not just buy that juicer? Essentially, staying alive entails three things only. We have to maintain a pH, I think it's of about 7.36, so we don't want to be dumping a lot of alkaline or foods that are too alkaline or too acidic into our bodies. And I think that most of us are probably more on the acidic side and should avoid things like cola and sugars and alcohol. Of course, you do need sugar, just not simple sugars, table sugar, but you can get fructose from your fruits and vegetables, and it's essential, which you have to maintain a blood glucose level in a normal range, and the cell temperature of about 98.6, where everyone knows. You have those three things, get that to every cell in the body, and essentially you can stay alive. Every cell is important in your body. Just nurture every cell. Remember to keep it alkaline, to keep your blood glucose monitored, especially if you're diabetic, and to keep your temperature correct. Enzymes are another thing that's very important. I'll let you do the study in that, but digestive enzymes especially, to help you break down the foods that you do eat, and they also serve other functions in the body. Enzymes are essential. You run out of enzymes, you're dead. But you can supplement with enzymes. And the last thing I'll touch on is B17. I think the synthetic version is known as Laetrile, and Philip Day made I would say he wrote a book, but he more compiled a technical manual called B17 Metabolic Therapy, and he basically says that cancer is a B17 deficiency. People that would eat fruits that were rich in this B17, as well as everything in the wild, basically gets a dose of B17. It's not officially recognized as a vitamin. It contains cyanide, but also B12 does. Look at the site, N-O-cobalamin. B12 is cyanide. That's what's in it. So B17, I've been eating apple seeds, and I've eaten peach seeds. I don't recall getting sick from either, and I know a lot of people have throughout history. According to the reports, a lot of the people that did eat those things had no instances of cancer until they were brought into pollution. So obviously I would make sure that I followed up with a doctor that believed that there was just some possibility that I could live. I wouldn't go back to the doctor ever again that had sentenced me to die. I would find someone that just had just some glimmer of hope for me, and just study. There's lots of material out there to read, and we've got to build faith. If someone says I have 6 months, well, I just try to see if I can make it 7 months. And maybe that'll give me faith to go on. Can I make it 9 months? People tell us to have faith, but they don't tell us where to get it. You get faith by building it a little bit at a time. It might be just hard for you to say, okay, I've been given 6 months by the doctor, but now I'm going to live 29 more years. Well, guess what? You're probably not really going to believe that, but you might really easily believe, hey, I'm going to live 7 more months. I'm going to get that 30 more days, and then once you get there, that'll give you the drive to push on. Well, I'm going to live another year. Just keep looking for answers. As long as there's life, there's a chance.